What is going on, everybody? I want to drop a video today talking about Ever Crisis because I've seen a lot of people talking about it. I've seen a lot of people have asked me about what I think is going on with this game. I want to answer this in a way of explaining kind of what I believe is happening based on things that people have told me and, my own sensibilities as far as structuring a release date for a project and all those kinds of things. So before we get started, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it. All of you all who support me and back the channel. So to get right into this, Ever Crisis, from its inception, from the concept of the game being announced, what it was going to be, it's been ambiguous as far as exactly what the release schedules are going to look like for the different chapters. If they're going to release one chapter for this part of the compilation, then a Crisis Core chapter and a Dirge of Cerberus chapter. If they're going to release the chapters for each release of the compilation at the same time, like chapter 1 for all of them at the same time, chapter 2 for all of them at the same time. If each chapter, like chapter 1, will be before Crisis, and then you go from the beginning to that. So it's been very murky at best as far as what they're doing and what they're trying to put out there and say. So on top of that, it's mobile only. So we don't really know what the future is going to be, if they're going to release it on consoles, if we're going to get maybe a Switch version of it, which I think would be perfect, or if they're just going to keep it on mobile and like a pay-as-you-play kind of thing. Nobody knows. But as far as what is happening right now with this project, there are things changing at Square Enix, and these changes have been in motion for probably at least a few months. We've got the whole thing happening right now with Yosuke Matsuda being replaced by Takashi Kiryu for president and control of Square Enix. We've got everything they've got going on, and of course Matsuda was the one who put out the now infamous New Year's Day letter about, hey, NFTs are coming. Please be excited about NFTs. Embrace the NFT, the blockchain. Give the blockchain a big hug. He's the guy who has been pushing this and implementing this. And, Matsuda does not have a legendary resume at Square Enix. So that's going to be another video for this week. We're going to get into that. So the changing of the guard with this thing, Ever Crisis felt like it was going to be built for the blockchain. Now, if Square Enix is wanting to pivot away from that, seeing how fan backlash has been, and plus Matsuda was not really good with the external Western studios, the stuff that Square Enix had. We'll get into that, but that all ties back to Ever Crisis. So if Ever Crisis was being built to be a part of the blockchain and really exclusively run on that based on NFT and all that kind of stuff, if they're pivoting away from that, that calls for a reconstruction of the game. Not just that, but thematically. If they want to do different things with the game, if this Takashi Kiryu is wanting to take it in a different direction with Ever Crisis and other projects that are coming down the pipeline. This project was announced at a tipping point for the company when a lot of stuff started changing and a lot of things started going in different directions for this company. I feel like Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis is being stripped down, taken back to formula, and just being rebuilt. I think the game is being rebuilt, not redesigned. I'm sure the scenarios and things are already there, but I feel like they're stripping this thing down to its base assets. They're reworking the game. If I had to place my stamp on this, if I had to say this is what's happening, I would say, given if they're taking this away from being dependent on NFT, if that's the direction they were going, and just looking at how the game works, there's also the possibility of, if they're doing a rebuild, that the game just wasn't working for how they wanted to put on mobile, the release schedule they wanted to do, having that work with the other stuff, or however the game was going to work. Again, we don't have a lot of details on what this thing was even going to be as final product. The beta was supposed to be out last summer. We haven't heard a whisper about this thing. No pun intended. No pun intended. Don't come at me, whisper haters. No pun intended. This was supposed to be in beta testing and probably coming out this year. We're not going to sniff a beta on this thing until fall at the earliest, if it even happens this year, if they even do it, if it's not some kind of like super exclusive closed beta that only, people with millions of followers and people who get codes and game industry insiders and stuff like that will get. Like me and you probably won't get a chance to even play it. Maybe we will, but I don't think it's going to be this year. So to answer the question, with all that being said, I think Ever Crisis is being rebuilt, replanned, reorganized, restructured, however you want to say it, because I feel like A, it probably didn't work, and B, how they want to release it and the structure of the game as far as the pay to play, if they're going to inject NFTs or any of that kind of stuff, it makes my head spin thinking about all the stuff they probably wanted to use this as a vehicle for. They probably wanted to use this as a vehicle to really push blockchain and NFT, use this as a vehicle for more pay to play kind of stuff, in which they already do that with Brave Exvius and games like that. They already do that. That's not gross. That's just how the gaming industry is working right now, and probably will work in the future. But there are a lot of problems, I feel like, that arose with Ever Crisis based on some of the things I've heard. We are a long time from seeing this game, and a long time being 6 months. Now, they could come out and show another trailer, and say more news coming this year, or something like that, or even like an apology, like, hey, we're sorry, this is supposed to be ready. Kind of like what Nintendo did with Zelda last year at that Direct. You remember when the director came out, he's like, sorry, we really wanted more to show you. We're not as far along as we wanted to be because of COVID or whatever it was, but here, we wanted to show you something today, and here it is. I feel like they might do something like that with Ever Crisis, because a lot of people are asking. A lot of people are adding Square Enix on Twitter. Hey, what's up with Ever Crisis? Where's this happening? Of course, that's always the best way to get an answer. Am I right? That's always the best way to get an answer. At somebody on Twitter. Because they're, especially famous people, they're always so quick to get back with us common folk. Anyway, that's what I feel like is going on. I feel like this is being rebuilt. I feel like they're keeping the assets. They're showing off things, and also something else. Even if it is ready, they probably wanted to show off, assets of like Vincent and Sid or whatever. But here's the other kicker with that. It's going to be the FF7 remake assets they used. So maybe they just don't want us to see some of those assets yet. They haven't shown anything. But again, they promised a beta last summer. So that's why I kind of go back and forth on that. And that's why I'm leaning more toward this game as being rebuilt. So anyway, post your comments below. Let me know what you all think about that. Happy to be back on the grind making content for you all. And thanks to everybody for the support, the kind words. And until next time, y'all have a great night. Be safe, be good to each other, keep rocking. And I will see you all in the next one. Take care. I want to say a quick thank you to my YouTube and Patreon members and supporters. If you would like to support the future creation of content on this channel, get some few extra perks and some art sent to your door every month, consider becoming a Patreon or YouTube member. Details and links are in the video description.